Hey everyone, Sean here, and welcome to another review for Gen V, the Boys spin-off, and we are going to specifically talk about episode 7. Now, right away, there are a lot of intense moments, so it is hard to describe it without spoiling things. So I'll go ahead and briefly say it that this is another good episode. I think this has been really been um, hitting it out of park consistently with these episodes. It's just like it builds up. The intensity is really ramping up. Things are really boiling, and that's really all I can say. Other than still having the sort of complaint about that whole battle royale thing. I know I'm probably sounding like a broken record maybe at this point, but we'll really save it for the last episode. There are some things to really talk about in this episode. But yes, it's good. I really liked what's really building up at this point. There are some plot holes maybe that could potentially hold us back, but we'll have to see how that turns out in episode 8. And this could be a lot like minor stuff. Maybe I'm looking into it too much, but once again they hit it out of the park. I was like kind of on the edge of my seat when it came out, when I was watching it, and um, once again, it's just another hit, man. I have these, um, all these episodes have been consistently, um, been very good. That's all I can say, really. So go ahead and watch it, and now we can go into the spoiler of things. So there is a lot happening here. So Newman comes into play. Even the CIA lady or whatever, I forget her name. She's pretty important. She helps out Butcher a lot, but she, yes, makes it into the episode as well, and um, plays a pretty big part, kind of, in talking with with Shetty and stuff like that, and things are boiling for that part too. Like, I think the seeds are planting and growing pretty fast. It feels like. And then meanwhile, there's this the political stuff does really come into play more. And then we have some like side plots that have been happening, and then it's a lot happening, including what appears to be a stroke occurring with Andre's dad, Polarity, or I forget his real name, but yeah, his father appears to have some sort of like stroke or something, or some sort of heart attack or something like that. And that was actually that of itself a pretty intense moment because it's like, yeah, what would happen when a soup gets these sort of episodes or these occurrences, these like occurrences, right? Like like heart attacks and strokes and aneurysms and stuff like that. How their powers work when there's no one in check. Even the very soup themselves aren't there. You know what I mean? So it definitely does provide some sort of like interesting sort of what if, right? Once again. And yeah, it was pretty intense that of itself. And that's where like Andre has to sort of miss out on something else happening with the main group, our main heroes, quote unquote, for this series. And they come to confront Shetty eventually. But meanwhile, we have Sam having fun. It's a nice balance of comedic and seriousness to it. Sam even was able to have some sort of college fun, and came out okay, relatively, right? Nothing really big happened with him leaving out of the room when Emma told him not to. Luckily, so he came out relatively in one piece. Unlike several other people. The doctor definitely went with a bang, no pun intended. Um, having to talk to Newman right after finding out from Marie that Marie spilled the beans, and she knows about now the virus, and Newman has another thing at her disposal now. At this point, she has the virus after the head doctor gave it to her, being promised that he was able to have some sort of like exit package of sorts, and was promised that he and his family could go somewhere else away from this whole thing. And she probably saw potential like loose ends, so tied up that part by, well, popping him. And actually get to know more about Newman's power, which is largely the same actually with Marie. So it goes to show that superpowers, just like with genetics, right? It eventually comes back around. There's no end of to possibilities, kind of, right? Like you'll eventually see, like in real life, you'll eventually see the same face pattern somewhere. So that's why in the world, right, people say that there's like 5 to 8 people that have the same sort of face pattern as you, regardless of race. Same thing here. Regardless of race, somebody will wind up with the same powers as you in a way. So in this case here, we have Newman and Marie with pretty much the same exact blood powers, pretty much. And and you can also say, like, the super strength and regeneration, right? Speaking of which, we saw that YouTuber or whatever, the content creator bitch, getting punched in the face by Jordan, right, to create that distraction, to have Marie to come into that whatchamacallit, the place where, the theater, I guess you could say, to talk to Newman. And she got punched in the face. Her jaw was out of place, but then the jaw returned because of her, well, regenerative abilities. So she seems like to be very durable in that regard. So not a complete pushover, right? She can definitely take some hits for sure. So it was good to know, like, you just can't go around and hit people whenever they do something bad to you, right? This is a university full of soups. So yeah, I mean, some people have some lesser powers, right? But then again, every soup has super strength, so you just don't know the durability and such like that for each of them. Especially with Sam, Sam is like the top besides Golden Boy. I mean, Sam is actually stronger, I think, right? But Golden Boy is like the face. Plus, the thermal powers too. But anyway, so a lot is happening. A lot did happen here. Um, and Newman finds out about this virus thanks to Marie, and then having to find out that Marie um, and Newman having the same powers. So they have that connection now. They got something going potentially, and this definitely will have to carry over to the next season, especially after I was told from somebody that there is a strong possibility that the second season is already a go. I mean, it is largely successful. It is getting a lot of good reviews, justifiably so. And so we're definitely going to see at least Marie, right? I mean, if we're going to see something from Gen V coming over to the boys, if there is one thing for sure. So Marie will probably play some sort of part with the boys at some point, hopefully. And maybe she'll perhaps be integrated with the boys, the group, right? The boys, right? So we'll see about that. But yeah, so it is interesting to see how Newman's powers work exactly. It's just being able to control blood. And that's just what it is. It makes sense. And my only thing though is that, whenever she does the head popping thing, her eyes become whitish, right, for Newman, right? But Marie yet doesn't really have that. So maybe, possibly, right, Marie could have potentially the better of the blood control powers. But we don't know, right? Maybe, I mean, Marie uses it for healing properties so far. I mean, besides the accident with her parents and stuff like that. But she definitely has unlocked the healing capabilities, seems like, with these powers, right? But we don't know about Newman too much, other than the head popping and stuff like that, and the limbs and stuff like that. She just makes blood go pop, right? So that's really her signature. That's how she goes goes around, right? So yeah, but then yes, so one of the biggest ones, if not the biggest one, Shetty dies. So this definitely was like, damn, man, because Kate was just not having it anymore, and I don't blame her for it. And Kate is seemingly the character to be written to be hated, right? Because yes, she's the one who was the the sus character, right? She was the one who helped pull the strings with Shetty, and Kate, you know, kind of like took it to her own hands, right? That she took action, and that I do like, but it does suck that it did wind up that to that exact result, having to slit the throat of Shetty just like that. Like, dang, man, that's just wow, you know. Um, I mean, justifiably so. Like I said, I mean, or as I said before, dare I say again, I mean, she's been fucked around for so many years. Shetty was just like, I don't know, like, I mean, she apparently can tell, Kate can tell who's lying and stuff like that because it makes sense because the mind, right? And so basically, um, yeah, I mean, maybe Shetty was genuinely wanting Kate to be like her stepdaughters kind of thing and just go away from all this, right? And and of course, why Shetty is doing all this, right? We've seen what she was doing with the virus or wants to do with the virus. It makes it contagious, blah blah blah, all that stuff. We saw that in the beginning, right, with the dude, who got really infected and tried to make it contagious amongst the other soups that were unfortunately in there too to see. And basically, Shetty was just like trying to make it very contagious, and the doctor was like, "No, I mean, if we let this happen, this is gonna be like a wildfire." And then she was just like, "Yeah, go ahead and define wildfire for me. Like, what's your definition of wildfire?" And then, the doctor tried to have an upper hand, and then Shetty was just like, "Do you really want to do that?" Kind of thing. She was trying to be in control, and she had the upper hand at that in that situation. But it's so funny because, a little extra scene, the doctor pissed in her, what is it, her whiskey and stuff like that. But we never got to see Shetty drink the piss whiskey, or I should say pisky at this point. Maybe someone else will. Maybe in episode 8, somebody else will. So, maybe maybe Tech Knight again. I don't know, right? Because he drank out of that whiskey previously, so at least on screen anyway. So yeah, Shetty. But back to the whole thing. I mean, she's doing all this because Shetty lost her family, her husband and her daughter, to that airplane that Homelander and Queen Maeve let crash. Although mostly Homelander, but yeah, um, he, there was that scene, the whole scene with the lasers and everything, the eye laser, get the fuck back, that whole thing. And on board was Shetty's father and daughter. So that's like very unfortunate that they were a part of that situation. And Shetty is the victim of all this, right? But of course, she is going about it in a very extreme way. And yes, there is understandably a reason for her, and I see it believably. But do I like it? No, of course not. I think that is well written, at least enough anyway, to see this character to be very reasonable to be present here, and why is she doing all this like the virus and everything, trying to commit genocide amongst the soups and stuff like that. Because yeah, I mean, in her eyes, all soups are evil, but it's not that it doesn't work that way, right? Obviously, but you know, lump the few with the masses, and that's definitely not how it should work. And Shetty was gonna do that, but then I thought she was gonna be alive by the end of it, but um, or till the end, I should say. But she went in this episode, so it was actually pretty surprising to see um what I mean, see Kate do that to her just like that. And then Marie even tried to save her, but Kate stopped her. See, she stopped her by using her powers and stuff like that. Like, don't use your powers, that type of thing in one touch. And Marie was like, oh shit. And then Marie has to go through that horrible memory again. And yeah, she's gone, and so that is how it pretty much ended. So yeah, but very interesting sort of connections, right? With interesting parallels. I would like to mention before I forget, because what's her face? The CIA lady or whatever. Forgive me for not remembering her name, but it should be right on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, she pointed out that Shetty and Butcher have a lot in common, more ways than one. The rage, right? The revenge, the vengeance that they're like driving off of. And she wanted Shetty to not go in that path, but she was gonna go in that path anyway. So, but now that she's dead, it's like they don't really. It seems like they don't have leverage to bring down God You or whatever. Maybe we'll see. We'll definitely have to see. Otherwise, there's really no one else to take the fall, because Shetty is gone, the Head Doctor is gone, Brink is gone. So who really is going to take the fall? I mean, at that point, God You is it's just like, where is it gonna go? So yeah, I mean, we're gonna get Gen V, more of it, and season one, it definitely seems like going to be just the beginning of things for the kids. Of course, we're gonna see more of these college kids. Um, especially with Andre, what's going on with him and his dad and stuff like that, and um, it just seems like, yeah, the woods it should be over, right? But um, I don't know. Maybe Newman will secretly take over the woods, or at least recreate it, and have her own lab and have her own scientists do the dirty work and such like that. We'll see. We'll definitely see. So definitely, that's all I got. It was very intense, very consistent in the writing. I do like it, and hope to see how it all wraps up for season one of Gen V. So, what do you guys think um, of this episode? Leave those comments in the section below. In the comment section. Like and subscribe. Don't forget. Really appreciate it, guys. If you want to see me more, do more content for this channel. And yeah, so like I said, can't wait. And there is one more episode left. So yeah. But anyways, thank you very much, and hope to see you all in the next one. Sean out.